Hey everybody, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Ash Raider here, coming at you guys another live stream, man. Hold on, let me just fix this mic real quick. Um, First things first, let me go ahead and explain, if you guys don't know by now, why I am live streaming on my backup channel. It's because I got a copyright strike. Apparently, when I was making that community post about the Raiders not taking Jordan Love, I think it went a little bit too. I mean, I didn't actually. Well, did I? I don't know. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't give a shit. I told John Gruden to fuck off and go down a flight of stairs. I didn't say I hope he died. I mean, I just hope he fell down a flight of stairs and hurt himself really bad. Not that I want him to die or anything like that. No. I don't want anybody to die. But at the end of the day, man, you know how the world is. They're sensitive about stuff. This is just today's society. This is just today's society. Like we're just sensitive. You know what I mean? We're just sensitive to everything, man. Like have to be protective of everything. Can't let shit slide. Whatever happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, I guess YouTube is being very protective of, just people on here, man. Certain people on here. Whatever, man. I mean, I don't really give a shit. Let's see who's on the live chat right now, man. What up, Billy? Mr. Billy Squat. Um, can't wait to see you next week, my boy. You know what I mean? Can't wait to give you the gate special when I'm there. Pause. No, I'm just playing. All right. So, the Raiders. Today is January 16th, 2024. It is 11:17 local time, Pacific time, and the Raiders still do not have a GM or a head coach. We thought in the last 24 to 48 hours that at least the GM would be announced, and there still had not been GM. Now, this is something to point out too. Yesterday was Martin Luther King Day, and the city of Las Vegas had a parade, and um, Antonio Pierce, and Richard Seymour, who was a part of the committee process for the next head coach and GM. Like he's a part of the GM and head coaching search. We're all there. Let me see if I can find that picture real quick and show you guys. Yeah, man, fucking Billy, bro. Let me see if I can find that picture real quick. Show you guys real quick. Gonna have to scroll all the way up, all the way up. There we go. Okay. Share my screen. Right there. The Raiders, Richard Seymour. Hold on. The Raiders, I don't really want to show that real quick. Here, I'll just show you guys a picture of it separately. Here, I'll just do it on my profile picture right now for one quick second. But yeah, there you go. Oh, no, that's terrible. Oh, man. Hold on one second, guys. Give me one quick second. There we go. All right. Let me just do that. All right, man. There we go, right there. You got Richard Seymour, you got Antonio Pierce, you got Champ Kelly, all at the parade, all throwing up the X. Don't know what that means. I think they're just trying to symbolize the Raider logo, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, man, um, pretty interesting. And you're seeing Champ Kelly and Antonio Pierce both wearing Raiders gear, and then Richard Seymour next to them, who was a part of the selecting process of the head coach and the GM search. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to point out, man. And yeah, man. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting. Today the Raiders are looking at Leslie Frazier. This is going to be their first head coaching interview. You would think, based on how this search has been, I mean, we've interviewed all these GM candidates. We interviewed guys like Adam Peters, who now is the Washington Commanders GM, Ed Dodds, obviously Champ Kelly, Terrence Gray from the Buffalo Bills, Trey Bound from the Cincinnati Bengals, Tom Telesco, and I think maybe another GM. I could be wrong. And I believe, in my opinion, it is going to come down between two Ed Dodds and Champ Kelly. They both had, I believe, they both had multiple interviews already. And we will see. We will see. I ain't gonna lie. I'd be shocked if it's not either one of them. I think Mark's kind of holding it off for now because I mean I think he wants to go through his due diligence, which I've been saying all along. Look, at the end of the day, man, I think based on the momentum, the locker room, the players, the fans, the media, um, and just the fact that um, he coached well towards the end. Like I ain't gonna lie, you can call me out on this. I don't give a fuck. Um, After the Vikings game, yes, I did say, AP's not head coach material. We should not look into AP. But then I had to sit back and think, well, we lost the game 3-0. Was it really all on AP that we lost that game at the end of the day, man? Um, it was a terrible loss, losing a game 3-0 is it's horrible. But then you have to think to yourself, like, okay, well, AP first off is a defensive guy, and the defense got better when he became our head coach. I know he doesn't call plays, but he is a defensive guy, so he obviously has defensive input to this team. And yeah, man, at the end of the day, man, um, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. And yeah, we were the number one defense right after Josh McDaniels had gotten canned. And then we were also number one in least amount of penalties. There were multiple games where we did not commit a single penalty under Antonio Pierce. And the offense did play better, and we were 5-4. We did beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead on Christmas Day as well. We went 3-1 in the last 4 games. He did beat both Andy Reid and Sean Payton. Gave Mike McDaniel a good challenge. You know what I mean? We could have probably won that Dolphins game had it not been for turnovers. So there's a lot of reasons to make the case for AP, and I mean he grew up a Raiders fan. The fans love him. This, that, and the third. He has the locker room. They built a culture. Um, but again, bro, when there's a lot of good candidates out there, it's hard to really just say, hey, I want AP's gonna be my guy. Like let's just no. Like at the end of the day, Mark should do his homework and should look into all these candidates and say, hey, hold off on this for a moment. Like, I like you, AP, and then he has stated that he would like Antonio Pierce and Champ Kelly get the job, but he also understands that the pool of candidates that's out there, the guys that are out there, and we all know that Mark wants a big name, and obviously, unfortunately for Antonio Pierce, he isn't a big name, but he does have the support from the fans' perspective, the players' perspective, and hell, even celebrities. Like now we're seeing Ice Cube. You know what I mean? Ice Cube, who's the president of Raider Nation, right? He wants AP. So a lot of people, want to have AP Antonio Pierce as our next head coach. But again, bro, like with the Chicago Bears at the moment, currently having the number 1 pick, although a lot of Bears fans, and all the players, or most of the players at least, want to keep Justin Fields. Again, it all starts at the top. It all comes down to ownership, because at the end of the day, this is a tough decision to make, for both the Raiders and the Bears. Do you stick with what you have with Justin Fields, who's been getting a lot better, I think, each and every year? Or do you go ahead and draft a guy who is considered a generational talent? And for the Raiders, do you hire the guy that, the fans love and the players love? Most of the fans love, the players love, and, a lot of people have been supporting him, and, you know, team played well when he was the interim head coach? Or do you look at these big name candidates, because again, bro, like, this is the hard part. The Raiders, I feel like I know I say this, seems like I say this every year. eh, I know, but it feels different this time. It feels like we're close. Now, what does that mean, close? Like, are we going to be Super Bowl bound next year? And does that? I'm not saying that, but what I do mean by close is that turning ourselves into a consistent winner. Like, not no one winning season every 4 or 5 years bullshit. No, playoffs, because we don't want that, Raider Nation. We don't want to be in the playoffs once every 45. We want to be in the playoffs almost every year to give ourselves a shot to win the Super Bowl. But we got to know what the plan is. We got to know what the move is. But at the moment, I advise all Raider fans to stay patient in this process. I know a lot of people are at the moment are really having a hard time trusting Mark Davis, because he did end up hiring Josh McDaniels. We saw how that turned out, and I get it, and I understand, and I get it. I truly do get it, but at the same time too, again, bro, like, I don't believe that Mark, you know, is going to, just make that mistake again, man. You know what I mean? I think he's learned, you know, and I mean, we'll see what happens, but at the same time too, it does feel like that, you know, this is kind of being a little bit forced down Mark's throat. Pause. Huh, what did they get you for? Um, yeah, man, like, sorry, I had to laugh, you know, I had to laugh. Just the way that LA said, "What they get you for?" You know, it's like we both in the cellar, and then, like, I just see LA, and it's just like, "Oh, what they get you for?" And it's like, well, they got me for this, man. It's bullshit. But no, real shit though, LA. They gave me a strike for a week because whatchamacallit, I made a community post talking about Jordan Love, and I'm all like, man, this is what I think about Jordan Gruden not taking Jordan Love. And, like, I was mad. I said, "Oh, I hope you fall down a flight of stairs." And like I said in the beginning of the stream, like, yeah, I mean, I wanted him to hurt himself. I didn't want him to die. I don't know. YouTube's sensitive, man. You know how it is. I wasn't actually causing real harm to John Gruden. Like, I mean, let's be real. If he did fall down a flight of stairs, and there was, like, video proving that, I'd be laughing at that. Even if he hurts himself, like, I'd still be laughing. I wouldn't want him to die. Like, no, 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 no. Of course not. I don't want anybody to die. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, where I'm from, that's just a saying, but I don't know. I guess YouTube doesn't like that shit. Um, I don't know. It's just whatever, whatever, whatever. Ash to Jinx. I bet it was because of Billy. I know, right? It's like you got out of YouTube jail, and then you see me, and you're just like, wait a minute, like I just got out, and now you're. I don't know. All right, well, gotta focus now. Sorry, LA. You can definitely tune into those live stream, man. But all right. So back to the whole Raiders thing. You know, I just have a. I'm just assuming. Like I said, we don't know. We don't know exactly what's going on behind the closed doors. We don't exactly know. But it does kind of feel like this time Mark really wants to take this time. And what do I mean by that? Now, look, Mark did what he had to do in terms of firing Josh McDaniels, right? You know what I mean? But I think the reason why Josh McDaniels got fired, um, well before the season ended, this was halfway through the season, right? Was because he felt the pressure from the fans. You know, we saw a video clip from weeks before McDaniels got fired. Fans talking shit to McDaniels at the Chargers game, and the old saying from Mark, "Smarten up," and I mean, um, and Mark had backed McDaniels several times because again he wanted stability. He knew that how complex the Patriots way is, like it's not gonna you're not gonna get it down right away, and that people were saying stay patient, stay patient, stay patient. And unfortunately, yeah, fans lost patience, and Mark had no choice because again, bro, like, it felt like at that moment Mark was going to lose on a lot of money, because there were a lot of Raider fans saying, season ticket holders, right? I'm not going to the games until Mark fires Josh McDaniels, this, that, and the third, and I didn't, Mark didn't want to risk out on losing a lot of money, and I think now the perception is that if Mark doesn't hire Antonio Pierce, that it's going to be the same thing, especially considering, oh, is Max Crosby going to want out, this, that, and I know what he said on this podcast. He says all options are on the table, but he didn't necessarily say that he's going to demand a trade. He just said like I'm going to have to explore all options. And again, bro, it just now that I've kind of rationalized it more, because I was pissed. I was all like, "What the fuck, Max Crosby? You're supposed to be a guy who, you know, is a Raider through and through. Like, you have the Raider tattooed on your arm." And again, bro, like, it goes back to Derek Carr. Oh, and by the way, Derek Carr got another OC fire, man. Goddamn Derek Carr. But no, let's real shit though. When we had Derek Carr, man, he went through hell. Let's be real. He went through so much instability, all these head coaching changes, coordinator changes, city move changes, um, losing out on guys like Khalil Mack, who was considered a really close friend to him, and best player on the team at the time. Amari Cooper, his best weapon. Michael Crabtree as well, which was a reliable weapon for him. And then 1 year, the whole offensive line for the most part was falling. Completely got dismantled, and he drafted Alex Leatherwood you know and shit. And then the Rich Bisaccia thing. You know, made the playoffs with them. Then they decided, to go in a different direction. And McDaniels, and until he got benched, never, not once did I ever see Derek Carr, you know, entertaining, on wanting possibly out, right? Like, oh, like maybe I don't want to be here anymore type shit. And like I said, I don't agree with what Wi-Fi Willie has to say all the time. I really don't, but I'll give the guy this. He is a good content creator. He really is. I'm not a fan of a lot of what he has to say. I think he's super annoying. I think at the same time too, he can act like a bitch. But at the same time too, I do like the content that he makes sometimes. I watch every now and then. I'll admit, I do. You know what I mean? And he brings up a lot of good points about what he has to say about Max Crosby, and that it's like, well, let's just say Antonio Pierce is not our head coach, and you want out again, bro. I mean, you're gonna be playing for not only a different team but a different coaching staff and whatnot, unless it's APs. But again, I mean, if AP is not going to be the next head coach of the Raiders, I mean, most likely he'll have a different defensive coordinator. Because I don't, unless Patrick Graham takes either the Chargers or the Seahawks job, I don't see Patrick Graham going anywhere. You know what I mean? Head coaching job, I should say. And it's going to be a different team and different, city, maybe a different conference, depending on where he gets traded, and it's just like, is that really worth it, Max Crosby? You know what I mean? And it's like, he complains about instability, but let's be real here for a second. And I know that the Raiders it always seems like we're always making changes, right? But in the 5 years that Max Crosby's been here, I mean, this is going to be his third regime, right? No matter what. But, this is going to be his sixth year now. But the first 5 years, right? He's only really been a part of two regimes. And that was with Gruden and Mayock's regime and with, McDaniel's regime, right? Because at the end of the day, although this year, right, I should say, um, McDaniels was fired and whatnot, and you know the locker room changed, the vibes changed and whatnot. That was still McDaniels' team. A lot of the guys were McDaniels guys, like Jacoby Myers, McDaniels' guy, Adam Butler, McDaniels' guy. You know what I mean? McDaniels and Ziegler's guy. Robert Spillane, McDaniels and Ziegler. Like, you know what I mean? These are guys that McDaniels and Ziegler brought in, right? Michael Mayer, Austin Hooper. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, it's kind of interesting to point out. And then with Rich Bisaccia too, again, that was with Gruden's staff with Greg Olson, Gus Bradley, and shit. So this is gonna be his third regime, and I mean, if it just it's really hard for me to believe that say somehow, some way we do bring in Jim Harbaugh or like a Mike Vrabel or something, or some big name. You know what I mean? Would Max Crosby really still want out at that point? That would be hard for me to believe. Like, I get that AP is your guy, but can you really get mad at Mark for doing his due diligence at the end of the day, looking at all because this is a really good round of candidates. Like, it's not just like AP and a bunch of like, rising candidates that have been just coordinators and looking to become a head coach for the first time. Now, if that's the case, yeah, go ahead and hire AP. Bank on AP at that point. But you have other big names out there, and at the end of the day, just in my opinion, I think what Mark wants is that he just wants to hear them out. And I feel like in the end, when it's all said and done, if he still feels like AP's the guy, then AP's the guy. But we'll see, man. I mean, today we're interviewing Leslie Frazier. That's for the Rooney Rule. I do not expect Leslie Frazier to be our next head coach. If that's the case, it's like the 0.000000000000001% chance that happens. Oh yeah, I'm making this channel. Well, not this channel, but when I do get back my main channel back, I'm just gonna be talking about cricket. I swear to God, man. Like at that point, I'll be just like, fuck this team at this point, man. Um, but it could be interesting to point out that maybe we're interviewing Leslie Frazier because maybe, just maybe, the defensive coordinator spot could be open because Patrick Graham did get another interview. I don't expect him to get like the Charge job, but the Seattle job, it might be a little interesting. And I would be surprised if he did get a head coaching job if he did end up in Seattle as the head coach, but maybe they're interviewing Leslie Frazier just to say like, hey man, you're definitely not going to be our next head coach, but if possible, maybe we could, you know, maybe bring you in as a defense coordinator, and I wouldn't be too against that, you know. But we'll see. Like I said, like a lot to unravel. Let me just check my phone real quick and see, like, if there's any update. Because I thought today would be the day. Like, I thought today would be the day that, we would find our GM, but nope, no, nothing yet. Um, and I won't say today won't be the day because, I mean, it's not even afternoon yet, and I'm pretty sure at this moment they are talking to, Leslie Frazier, and, we'll see what happens, you know? They just keep the homies down. But I wanna go ahead and show you guys, that's funny, LA. I just wanna go ahead and show you guys real quick. This guy. I'm in this Raiders group chat, and this guy's all like, "Hire a Raiders GM for God's sake." Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on, man. Let me go ahead and find this post from Josina Anderson, because she made the post today regarding the Raiders search, and it's something to be to kinda look out for, right? To kinda look out for. So let me go ahead and show you guys right now. Okay. Okay. There's still a lot of quote unquote favor interviews being done out here. None of this matters until the second round, anyways. Also, one thing I heard in relation to Las Vegas pertains to any owner really right now, too, is it's important for head coach candidates to present a strong plan for their staff, who their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator is. Do you have relationships to put together a whole staff that the owner believes in? The aspect of the interview process can be more of a make or break deal than folks presently considered, and it also is a cause for concern. So, yeah, man. I mean, at this point, there's really no excuse now. Not no excuse, but I mean, at this point, I think you're just going, trying to find the right words. The head coaching thing, I understand. But the GM thing, I mean, at this point, man, I understand it's a tough decision, tough call for Mark. Because again, Ed Dodds, who was there for who was there from '03 to '06, started out with the Raiders, has connections to Harbaugh, even though it's just 1 year, but still, and we all know that Harbaugh really likes or Mark Davis really likes Harbaugh, and we know that Harbaugh had an interview with the Chargers yesterday. They're still going to be going through their interviewing process. There's no like there's no decision there yet. We won't know until the next few days. So I think at this point, Mark's exploring his options. But again, I mean, at this point, man, I mean, Mark's gonna have to make a decision, dog. And unfortunately for Mark, it really is a tough decision because I think in the back of Mark's mind, you know, he probably thought bringing in Antonio Pierce would be like another like just Saturday type of situation, but that didn't turn out to be that way. I had the feel of that, like, okay, he's a good leader, but at the same time too, like when it comes to X and O, he doesn't seem like a guy that really knows that. But no, I mean, Antonio Pierce, I mean, from what I heard from former players, former coaches, really smart dude, really knows X's and O's. Maybe not as much as like some of the coaches that we had from before, but when that, he wants to get better and that, that he's depending on other coaches that he's played for, like a Marvin Lewis, him and Marvin Lewis worked together at Arizona State, but like a Tom Coughlin, you know what I mean? That he played for and this, down the third. And I mean, I see that more as a green flag, but I think Mark sees that as a red flag. But it's like, okay, well, I know that like you could potentially become a great head coach, but I need a proven coach now. You know what I mean? Like Mark's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make it up to this fan base. I'm gonna fire Josh McDaniels now. I'm gonna get you what you want. And then this is just a throwaway year, right? Like whatever, fuck this year. And the next year I will get you guys the coach that you guys want. And I don't think that Mark expected this type of, you know, breakout from Antonio Pierce. I don't think Mark expected Antonio Pierce to. Now I think and especially because it's funny how like weeks after when it looked like Antonio Pierce, I think he was 2-0, 2-1 at that moment. I think this was after the Dolphins game, right? And we were coming off a tough loss against Miami, but a lot of the fans were still very encouraged by Antonio Pierce. Like, okay, teams playing hard for Antonio Pierce. You know, played great against the Giants. Got it done against the Jets, found a way to win against the Jets, you know, almost had found a way to beat the Dolphins when everybody thought and everybody and their mama apparently thought we were gonna get blown out. And that's and you had dumbasses telling me, I swear to God, man, people that do not know what they're talking about with the Raiders need to shut the fuck up sometimes, man. Like they're so dumb when it comes to the Raiders, man. I swear to God, man. Like I know motherfuckers don't like the Raiders, man, but you guys talk so much shit, and it was really the Bronco fans, man. You know what I mean? And you can't even beat us at our fucking worst. Y'all are pathetic, man. You know what I mean? And y'all don't even. It literally seems like y'all don't know what you're doing. Whatever. You know what I mean? But people were all like, "Oh yeah, now it's your turn to get blown out by the Dolphins," and I get it. No moral victories and shit, but we're not y'all. We're not y'all at the end of the day, man. Like we actually have a defense, you know? Like we actually have, a bright future. 50 million over the cap, a good defense, good playmakers. But now this is the tricky part. Do we continue to build off of what we have right now or do we, or do we go after a big name? And again, bro, like I know that it's going to be tough for Mark to make this decision. Because at the end of the day, he just wants best for the team, right? And again, I just it's hard for me to believe. It's truly hard for me to believe that if we do end up getting Harbaugh, and I'm not saying we will get Harbaugh, you know, but would Max Crosby still be mad at that? Would Devontae Adams still be mad at that? Would they still be mad if we end up getting? And by the way, why isn't Mike Vrabel getting any coaching interviews? And I know the Patriots job is already filled, but you know, why isn't that Mike Vrabel's not getting any interviews? Like that's surprising to me. Like I don't know. Oh man. But yeah, man, I just wanted to come on here and kind of talk about that a little bit, man. Um I mean, we'll see what happens, man. Robert Spillane. Okay, so he made a post on Instagram. Is today the day, RN? I think he's referring to Raider Nation. Hashtag hire AP, and he it's a picture. Let me go ahead and show you guys. I feel like, yeah, like any given moment, in my opinion, they are going to hire Pierce. Which again, I mean, I don't have an issue with, but at the end of the day, man, like, and I'm gonna play a clip real quick. Let me show you guys right here. It's today the day, right there. I don't think today would be the day because based on the rules that have been in place, I think you saw that comment there. Let me go ahead and show you guys one more time. And if you guys can't really see it, I'll go ahead and read it for you guys right now, man. If I was a betting man, it wouldn't be until after the divisional round unless they interview a second candidate outside a minority candidate before then. Interesting to point out. Very, very interesting. So, um, let me go ahead and play you guys a couple clips. Hold on. Someone call me. Hey guys, I'll be right back real quick. Give me 1 second, you guys, man. Put myself on mute real quick. All right, you guys, man, I'm back. Let me go ahead and play you guys a couple clips. Now, I know a lot of people are not fans of what's his name. Um, in particular, my boy Raider Ben, Graphic Raider, and I'm not too big on him as well, man. Um, like I said, man, I'm not really like sub to them and whatnot, but I mean, I see their content a lot based on a lot of Raider fans sharing it. And hold on, right here, let me see if I can find the clip real quick. All right, I believe this is the clip. So I want you guys to hear what Graphic has to say here, because he low key is speaking facts here. But here we go.
Max is the leader of this team. Mark Davis is the leader of this organization. If you give players too much power, you lose everything. You lose everything. Mark is definitely looking at him and saying, Max, I hear you. He's going to call it how he sees fit. So it's okay to be the leader of this team, but he is the leader of this organization. Allow Mark to do what he do. I love, though, once again, I love that Max put pressure on him, but sometimes it's like, come on, man, like, I know you have a podcast now, and I know you guys are, investing in that, and I love it. I watch every episode of The Rush. It's really a great show, and his guests, his guys that do it are great guys. Like, they ask the perfect questions. I haven't watched one show where I wasn't like really entertained. But at the end of the day, it's like, what does that do? It's like at this point, you're adding now to the dysfunction. Max is the leader of this team.
I mean, honestly, like what he said right there, that last part, like that holds a lot of weight. Like that's very true to unfortunately the dysfunction that's been going on for the past 21 years, right? So, um, we'll see. The Seattle Seahawks have requested an interview with offensive coordinator Ben Johnson for their head coaching job. Yeah, Ben Johnson getting a lot of interviews. Oh, and by the way, congratulations to Jason Kelce on a great career. Um, congrats to him. The Chargers have completed an interview with Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan for the offensive coordinator job. But like, let's just say Mark wants to get his boy, which we all know deep down it probably is Harbaugh because he's been eyeing him now for almost a decade. This is kind of interesting to point out, and let me see if I can find this video right now. Let me go ahead and see if I can find this video right now. Because someone pointed it out yesterday, on a podcast. But let me go ahead and find it. No, it's not this one. Okay. Mm, yeah, I can't seem to find it. Damn. I know someone like posted a video of it. I wanted to go ahead and share it. Maybe it's on my other. It was like in one of the Raider group chats that I am in. All right. Let me go ahead and maybe it's on this Raiders group chat right here. I doubt it, but let's find out. Nah, it's not on here either, huh? Damn it. Do I have that shit bookmarked? I gotta start bookmarking a lot of shit, bro. I gotta start bookmarking a lot of shit. Yeah, I don't think I can. I'm gonna be able to find it. Like it was a video on Twitter. I should have just fucking saved it on my phone. Let me see if I can ask one of them. Okay. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find the video. I could be wrong, but I mean, I'll just say it on here, honestly, man. Guy was talking about how much Harbaugh wanted, and I think I overestimated how much Harbaugh wanted. I thought he wanted somewhere in between 15 20 million. He's only asking for 12 million. Mark could definitely afford that. He could definitely afford that. Even if it was at like 15 20 million, Mark could still afford that. And it's like, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? The thing that kind of does concern me though, if we do choose to get Omar Harbaugh, and this is why Mark should do his due diligence. Does he want full roster control? And a Raiders fan that you know, like I'm in a Raiders group chat where I think I'm the only one where I'm all like, "Hey man, let's hold off on AP right now, man. Like, look, I like him, you know. I definitely think the Raiders should look at him. In my opinion, he is my first choice, but I also understand that there's other choices out there. Everybody in that Raiders chant's like AP now, AP now, hire AP now, do it now, do it now. Like I'm just like hold off on it just for a little bit. Like I said, I don't even care if this takes till Super Bowl weekend. At least for the head coaching search. The GM search, though, I ain't gonna lie, man. You've already won 3 round of candidates. I think now you should make that decision, especially when you're already interviewing head coaches, right? Like, well, you've only interviewed one, and yeah, and it's very weird how we haven't really interviewed that many head coaching candidates. Like again, is this does this pertain to the Rooney Rule? Like, I don't know, but as I was saying from before, um, you know, a Raiders fan was telling me yesterday about like Harbaugh, because I told him, well, be honest, man. Like, you have to understand why Mark is doing this. Like maybe Mark doesn't want to see Harbaugh possibly in the charts. You can't blame him, you know. But then he's all like, "Well, what happens if he wants full roster control? Like, would you still want him?" And I'm all like, "Well, of course not." But at that point, I feel like you should still want to interview him and ask him, like, hey, if you do get the job, like, are you going to have full roster control? Are you going to, because some guy mentioned on the podcast that Harbaugh may want full roster control on this offense. And again, besides obviously Bill Belichick, and even after Brady, we saw how it was, after Bill Belichick, and we saw it with Gruden, with us and low key, it was with not even low key, high key, it was with McDaniels with us as well, man, like and with AP, we don't have to worry about that. He'll just be coaching the team, Whatever players he have, offense, defense, whatever, he'll coach them to the best of his ability. But again, if Harbaugh just wants to come here and coach the team, you know, then I'm willing to hear him out. I'll be like, hey man, like you want to just coach the team, fine, Like, because at the end of the day, man, you never want to give, especially even if it's a big name head coach, you know what I mean? Like, you never want to give a head coach full roster control. It just does not work out more times than not. It just doesn't work out more times than not, and that's why Mark's like, okay, this time I'm gonna like give the GM, they're the GM independent units. They're gonna be the ones have full roster control as it should be, all along. Like I don't know why, because when Mark had hired, and listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Reggie McKenzie, but when he brought in Reggie McKenzie along with, Jack Del Rio, Jack coached the team. Reggie was the one, making all the splash signings, drafting and whatnot, man. So, and that's how it should be, really. Like even if you get a big name, like again, like I'm not saying their input doesn't matter. I'm not saying what they say doesn't matter. But I'm just saying though, like leave that up to the people in the front office. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens again, man. I mean, at this point, I just sound like a broken record. Let me go ahead and check my phone again. And then I'll probably call it a stream because I've been live for 45 minutes. Nothing yet, huh? Yeah, there's nothing yet. So, guess we gotta wait it out. Hopefully by the end of today we get some news, and if not, then it's just like, well, damn, Mark, like now you're just overdoing it, Like, I get that, you like Ed Dodds and you like Jim Kelly. I know in the back of your mind you wish you can get both, but unfortunately that's just not realistic. So yeah. Before I leave you guys, man, let me go ahead and share with you guys this shit. So I made on my Twitter post, right? Let me go ahead and share it right now. I said, this obviously won't happen, but can you just imagine? Again, this won't happen. Our head coach, Jim Harbaugh, assistant head coach and linebackers, Antonio Pierce, Frank Smith, who again has connections to Cham Kelly, or Cliff Kingsbury, which has been rumored to be our OC if we do choose to hire Antonio Pierce, Patrick Graham, and Cham Kelly or Ed Dodds. Would Raider fans still complain, or I bet you there's going to be some Raider fans that are still going to complain about that? Me? Obviously, realistically, this won't happen, but it's like, well, damn, you got a proven head coach in Jim Harbaugh. Antonio Pierce continues to build his resume with us. Patrick Graham's still here. We're going to get ourselves a good offense coordinator. And then either Chim Kelly or Ed Dodd's going to be your next GM. Fuck yeah. But obviously, that won't happen. That won't. I know maybe Mark's thinking to himself he would like that to happen, but obviously that's not going to happen. I don't know. We really don't know what Mark's thinking about at this moment. We don't know. You know? Um it's interesting to point out like how he hired Richard Seymour, right? Someone had mentioned that Richard Seymour is a professional poker player that doesn't like to show his hand. So that picture, although he was with AP and Champ Kelly in that parade, maybe he knows something that we don't know about. Like again, bro, like this is the point in the year where I hate this time of the year. And we're gonna be thinking like this for the next 3-4 months. Like especially like even after the head coaching search, the free agency market, the NFL draft, schedule release. Like we're gonna be thinking like, oh, what, like where, who's the next Raiders coach gonna be? Who's gonna be the next Raiders quarterback? And it's just like, oh, another off season of unknown. And for the next 3 to 4 months, we're gonna, you know, be unraveling, what's gonna happen, and you know, all the suspense, and even low key anxiety of just I don't know. It's a lot to unravel, and I mean, unfortunately, fortunately for Mark, he got himself in this mess by hiring McDaniels, man. Again, I gave him a shot. I believed he deserved a second chance, and I was like, fine, he's a Raider now. In my opinion, he deserves another shot. Let's give him a shot, and it- yeah, man, it just turned out to be shit, bro. Um, it is what it is, man. Um, just gotta move on now and hope for the best, man. Hope for the best. You know what I mean? Like, I just hope that this next coach we can have can be here in the next 5 years, can be our guy for the next 5 years or so, and create real stability, and not have to worry about job security, right? On the head coaching and GM side. Like, I think that's what Mark really wants, because ever since he became the owner like 12 years ago, he went from firing Hugh Jackson, because him and Hugh Jackson worked together. And then he hired Dennis Allen. And then he hired Jack Del Rio full time. I'm talking full time head coach. I'm not going to count the interims. Um, Dennis Allen, Jack Del Rio, John Gruden, Josh McDaniels. And now he's going on his fifth head coach. And then you went from GMs, you went from Reggie McKenzie, Mike Mayock, Dave Ziegler, and now you're going to be hiring your fourth GM. Like, yeah, man, in 12 years. Yeah, man. Has to get it right, because the fans are losing patience. Patience is wearing thin. I mean, now we have the second longest playoff win drought in the NFL. 20 plus years of no playoffs. The division, again, we got Mahomes still. You know, Chargers, who knows? Maybe they might get Harbaugh for Herbert and whatnot. Um, so I mean, we'll see. We will we will see what happens, man. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, man. It's been almost an hour. Just wanted to go ahead and talk before I leave once again. Like every 5 minutes I've been doing this. But let me check my phone again, just in case. Breaking news: Los Angeles Chargers. Oh, well, we already knew that. I hate this shit. I hate fucking when people post like shit about stuff that we already know like days later. Like this little rant, this random news site getting notifications like, oh, the Los Angeles Chargers player fears that he torn his ACL, but we already knew that with Tyler Higbee. All right, you guys, man. For real this time, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end it, man. Until then, you guys, man, this has been your boy Ash Raider, and I'm out. Peace, and as always, go Raiders. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.